this is Heather Sides. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Spokane, Washington, and I am just getting started on my weekly live. I come here every week, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and do this nice live video where I have 3 cards that I prepared for you. It looks like I'm cutting off my head a little bit, but I think we're just going to have to deal with that tonight because I'm not going to keep it this way for too long, I don't think. So it looks like I am up on the screen. Give me just a second. I want to pull it up, make sure that I can see all of your comments. So here we go. I'm going to try something a little bit different tonight. Those of you who follow me regularly know that the last couple of weeks, I think I just put my finger right in front of the camera. Good job, Heather. Anyway, know that I've been putting the puppy in his crate when I do these because my son's usually gone and my husband is usually out for his run. And so I put the puppy in his crate. Well, he's getting better about maintaining his little bladder, we'll say. So I decided tonight he can stay out of the crate and we'll see how he does. So, well, we'll just see how it goes, right? Let's see, I'm trying to think if I have anything to tell you about that happened this week. Nothing really exciting. Yeah, there's just really nothing going on. So why don't we go ahead and flip this camera around. We'll go ahead and take care of some housekeeping stuff, and then we'll get going on those great cards that I told you about. Hold on just a sec while I turn the camera around. Okay, looks like we're doing okay. I'm going to move some stuff up a little bit though. I want to be able to make sure you can see everything I'm doing on the screen. So that looks a little bit better. As many of you know, the new annual catalog launched yesterday, and there is all sorts. See, I can do this now. I'm allowed to show you the inside, and there is all sorts of wonderful deliciousness in here. So, yeah, if you need a new one of the new catalogs, be sure to let me know. I am happy to send one out to you. If you don't have one, let me know. Also, if you need one of the January through June mini catalogs, let me know. I can throw one of those in too. Also want to tell you about a special that we have going on this month in coordination with the launch of the catalog. As you know, or as many of you know, every year we bring out 5 new colors that we call in colors, and they rotate. They last for 2 years, and then they rotate back. They rotate out. So every year there's 5 new ones, and this year the colors are really great, and I'm going to be working with them a little bit tonight. But for our starter kit, if you want to join my team, hello Lois, thanks for joining us. Welcome. If you are interested in joining my team, which is probably the best deal that Stampin' Up offers, because you get in your starter kit, you pay you pay $99, and you get to pick out $125 worth of product of your choice for your starter kit. So if you need some of the basics to get going, you can go that route. Or maybe you already have a lot of stuff. Maybe you want to order $125 worth of stuff from the brand new catalog. You can do that too. But this month only, we have a special that in addition to all that goodness that you already get, you will also get a free packet of in-color products. So I know it's kind of hard to read this little flyer here, but I wanted to print it just so that I could make sure to tell you everything that's included. You get a pack of the grid paper that's like this, only it's got the in colors down the side, so it's really pretty. The 5 new in color ink pads, a packet of the in color coordinating cardstock, and then a packet of the in color coordinating designer series paper. So it's I think I read that it's a $59 value. So the kit that you're already getting is valued at I'm trying to think, it's about $175 worth of products and things of that nature. Between the $125 that you get to pick, you get a free paper pumpkin kit, you get some business supplies, so that if you choose to make it a business, you've got what you need to get started. And then they're adding on this additional $60 worth of in-color products. So well over $200, almost $250 worth of products for $99. It's a great deal. So if you have any questions, you're interested in joining my team, you can go to my website, heathersides.stampinup.net, and you can see the information there that talks about it. Or you're welcome to contact me here on Facebook through private message or at stamphappenings@gmail.com, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started on making our cards. The first card I'm going to show you tonight it's not actually using any of the new products, but it's a stamp set that I recently got, and I've been holding off using it because the last few weeks I've been trying to focus on products that were going to be retiring. So knowing that this wasn't going to retire, I hadn't been using it. So I was excited to finally get to play with it. And it's the Bamboo Beauty stamp set. And then I also used our watercolor shapes, which I really like this set. It's very versatile. It's great for backgrounds and simple designs, as well as just kind of fun and funky things. So combined, I'll show you what I made. This is the card we're going to make tonight, just very simple. And it uses our, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the color. Why am I, soft succulent. I always want to say sage shadow because that's an old color we used to carry like 100,000 years ago. Hey Marcy, hey Robin, welcome. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do before we get started? I forgot to announce our drawing winner from last week's video. If you haven't joined us before, what my drawing is all about is commenting. So whether you comment live while we're here tonight, and that's always kind of fun, getting conversation going with one another, or maybe you have questions that I can answer for you, or maybe all you do is say, hi, I'm here from Spokane, whatever. Just if you leave comments, let me know you came. That's how your name gets in the drawing. And I don't limit it to just this live video. I always upload to YouTube when this is over, so you can watch the replay either on YouTube or here on my Facebook page. And if you comment watching a replay, I'll put you in the drawing as well. So everybody who watches the video and leaves a comment this week between now and about 5 o'clock next Wednesday, your name will go into the drawing. So I encourage you to participate, comment, and enjoy yourself. The winner from last week's video is Jason Laux, and he won a package of our black, let's see, what did they call it? It's the glitter organdy ribbon. It's black with little silver sparkles in it. So Jason, I believe I have your address, and this is going to be in the mail and on its way to you tomorrow. So congratulations. Okay, so back to our card. This is the card that we're going to make, and let's go ahead and get started. As you know, the first thing I like to do is to decorate my envelope, just to give that glue a chance to dry, since I do use the liquid glue. And I just take a little bead of it and go around the edge of the envelope flap. Fill in some glue there. And if you are using a designer series paper that is directional, for example, in this case, the plants grow upward, you want to make sure that you're putting it on your paper in the correct direction. I have done it upside down before. Also, you want to make sure you're going the right direction when you cut it. And I just cut a strip that's about 2.5 by 6 inches, and it fits almost all envelope flaps, but I am using the Stampin' Up envelopes that we sell. They come in a pack of 40 for, I want to say they're $7.50, something like that. They're a really good quality envelope. I like them a lot. And once, I used to just buy cheap ones off of Amazon, and then I started using these, and I like the feel of them. They're really nice. They're heavy duty. And so now this is what I buy, and I think they're a pretty good price too. So now I just trim around the excess. There we go. And I will set that off to the side. Jason, welcome. I don't know if you saw it or not, but you were last week's winner. Well, this week's winner, I guess, for last week's video for my drawing. So you won a roll of the black organdy sparkly glittery ribbon, and I think I have your address, so I will pop it in the mail to you tomorrow. If I don't have your address, I know how to contact you, and I will let you know so that we can get that going. Okay, so let's get started on our card. You know what? I'm going to close my office door. Give me just a second. I was going to leave the door open, so if the puppy wanted to come in, he could, because I didn't think my husband was going to be here, but he is here, and it's probably annoying to him to have to listen to me. So I shut the door for his benefit. Okay, so this is just half of a piece of the soft succulent cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. And there we go. So that's the base of the card. We'll set that aside for the moment. And then I have, let's do the inside first. We'll just get that piece done and taken care of. What I've used here, this is the Designer Series paper that comes in, it's in our, oh man, why can't I think of the name? Good Fortunes, oh, I had it and right now it'll come to me. But this is a Designer Series paper that is in the January through June mini catalog. So if you like this, and it is beautiful, beautiful paper, then you should know that it is going to retire at the end of June. It didn't carry over into our new catalog. So if you like this, and I don't know how you could not, you'll want to get it before it goes away at the end of June. Okay, so I just put a little bit of glue on my strip here, and I like to use, you'll see I like to use all different kinds of glue for different things, but I do like to use the liquid glue when I'm putting on a strip like this because it gives me a little wiggle room to move it around, make sure it's straight, all that good stuff. So I just put it on there and then I cut off the extra. I like to cut it a little bit long just because it's easier to cut off the extra than it is to make it longer if it's just a little bit too short. And it bugs me when it's a little bit too short. So I just put that little strip along the bottom there. And then this is our soft succulent satin ribbon. It is, I love it. It's so soft and it's beautiful. I really, really like it. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to wrap it around this piece. I'm not worrying about a bow or a knot or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is take a couple pieces of my tear-in tape and I'm going to flip this over and just tape it down. I do typically, after I do one side, like to flip it back over and just make sure I've got it centered where I want it before I tape the other end down. There we go. Looks like I've got a little bit extra here on this end, so I'm just going to push that up and cut it off, trim it off there. Okay. And then for the inside, I took this stamp. I really liked this sentiment. The bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that breaks. And I'm going to use the soft suede ink. Wheel of Fortune. That's what Marcy likes to call the paper that I'm talking about, Wheel of Fortune. I know it's Fortune something, and it's evading me right now, but I'll know it as soon as I hear it. Well, actually, I'll probably think of it at like 3 in the morning when I should be sleeping. Okay, so I'm just going to put the sentiment right up here. Attempt to make it straight. There we go. Now I'll clean off my stamp. Okay, and then I'm going to close this for the moment. And let's go ahead and glue this down to the inside of the card so I don't lose it or, get stuff on it. It looks like I just used this one up, so let's put in a refill. This is our Seal Plus. This is my go-to adhesive, which you probably know if you've been following me for a while. I like it. It's just quick and easy. And it's a nice strong adhesive, so when I have things that just need a little extra to hold them down, I know I can count on it to do that. Okay, now let's get this ready here. And put it on the inside of the card. Symbols of fortune. Thank you, Robin. She even gave us the item number for that and everything. You're awesome, Robin. Okay, so now we'll glue that in. Now we've got the inside done. Let's work on the front. And we're going to start by doing something very similar to what we did to the inside. I've got a piece of crumb cake. I've got a piece of the designer series paper. Let's go ahead and glue this baby down. Okay. Okay, and then again, make sure my plants are growing upward. And I'm going to take this strip and, you know, about 1.25 inches down. It doesn't have to be anything really precise. I'm going to do the same thing, just tape it down with my tear and tape, if I can find the end of it here. Oh, and Jason told us what it was too. Thank you for both of you. Symbols of fortune. Okay. Now I want to just kind of make sure I'm going straight here. I want to pull it nice and tight because I am going to be laying some stuff over it. If it's loose, sometimes it makes it a little bit bumpy. So the tighter you can have it, the better. I like that. Now I'm going to take this white strip and I'm going to take this little rectangle from the watercolor shapes, and I'm going to use 2 different colors here. I'm going to use my soft succulent and my crumb cake. It's very dangerous for me to have more than one ink pad open at a time because it just increases my odds of laying down in it, running my hand through it, laying something else in it, you know, all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a bit of a gradient of the colors. So I started with my green at the bottom, my soft succulent, and I stamped it right here. Then what I did is I stamped over it again, and that's the nice thing about these, the photopolymer stamps, is I can see where I stamped before and just stamp right on top of it. So that way I've got 2 coats of the color just to give it a little bit more depth, make it a little bit darker. Now this one I'm going to stamp off just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to go right above it. Now this one I'm going to stamp off a little bit more, go right above that. Okay, and then I'm going to clean it off clean off my stamp because now we're going to move on to the next color. Might as well close the soft succulent one. We've already discussed the dangers of me keeping it open. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this bottom one that I did on the first soft succulent one, where I stamp it. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp over it again just to get that extra ink on there. Then this one, just stamp off lightly. And I'm going to put it right above it. There we go. And now I've got that nice gradient of color. Okay, close up this ink pad. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull back out my soft suede. And we're going to stamp some bamboo. I only have one big big block like this, so I put both of the stamps that I'm going to use on here, just one on each side, and I made it so that I could see where I'm stamping with them. Okay, So this first one I'm going to kind of do up and down. Well, they're both going up and down, but this one's going to be kind of straight. Clean off my stamp. Sorry about all the table wiggling when I clean the stamp. Okay, now I'm going to do the other one, which is just a little bit narrower. And I'm going to make it so that it kind of goes at a little bit of an angle. There we go. Clean this one off. So the weekend is around the corner, you guys. We're on the downhill slide at this point. Anybody have any fun plans? No, actually, I'm not sure what you heard, Robin. I actually decided to let him stay out tonight. He's been really good about, you know, not peeing everywhere all the time. So I decided to let him stay out. We'll see if I regret that decision or not. Thank you, Marcy says, gorgeous color palette. I really liked these two colors, so thank you. Okay, so then I just added the little leafy one there. Okay, clean off my stamp, and now we just need to put this card together and we're done. Okay, so put my ink pad away. You know, my bins that you're talking about, Marcy, I just bought them at the dollar store. Just cheap little bins like this, and I have 3 of them that I have going. One has the cards to make, one has my, one I keep all of my supplies that I use. I'll show you, it's a mess. This just has all of my supplies that I use all the time when I'm stamping, so I just keep everything in there. And then one has all the ink pads and the stamps and things like that that I need for today's live. Yeah, dollar store. Okay, so now, let's see, this is a little smaller than I want. I finally got my foam adhesive sheets again, so I'm very excited about that. Let's cut this one down. I could put a bunch of dimensionals on here, but to be honest with you, I'm kind of lazy when it comes to that sort of thing. And so I like to just use my foam adhesive sheets most of the time. But I was out of them for quite a while, and I kept forgetting to order more. So it's all very exciting to have them again. Okay. Now get this on there. Peel off. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm such a goober. I didn't want it on the white. I wanted it on... Oh, yeah, this is pretty unforgiving stuff, so when you put it on the wrong paper, you may or may not be able to reuse it when you peel it off. Oh, this makes me sad, you guys. I want to cry. So I peel it off. I may have to do that front piece again. I hope not. Okay. So, get that one off. Let's pull the other one off now. You know what works really great for stuff like this, and I should have just grabbed it, is Undo. And you can buy it at any craft store. You can buy it on Amazon. And it's this stuff. I don't know how to describe it. It almost feels like a little oil that you put down, and it seeps under your adhesive, and you're able to peel whatever it is right off. And you think it's going to damage the paper because everything gets all wet, but it dries really fast and it does no damage to your paper. It is really, really cool stuff. I've been using it for years and years. Okay, I'm going to use a little extra adhesive here just because I did tear up that paper quite a bit, and I want to make sure that it lays down well. There we go. Okay, now let's try the foam adhesive sheets again. Can't believe I did that. I was getting so excited about having them again, I just didn't pay attention to what I was doing with them. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right, Robin, it's the $1.25 store. You know, and some people got so upset about that. And I thought, I just thought, oh, you know, I don't know, every other store in the world is raising prices. Why wouldn't they? That's a good idea, Jason. I could have just made the green lay flat and then the white popped up, and I probably should have done that. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here, sort of center it vertically. There we go. Now let's go ahead and glue this one down to the card base. Watch your margins. Try to make sure that they're relatively the same, just so your piece is straight. And there we have it. There's card number 1. Whoops. Ta-da! There's the inside again. Card number 1. Pretty easy one to do, but I really like it. I think it's very simple, but I think it's pretty too. Okay, so are you ready for card number 2? Now we're going to start getting into the in colors. So if you have not seen the in colors yet, this is going to be fun for you to get a chance to check them out. Okay, so with this card, I didn't actually do any stamping on this one. This one is all dies and cardstock doing the work for me. Dies and designer series paper doing the work. So this is our glitter paper with the in colors, and I just want to show it to you because it's so fabulous and beautiful. Okay, so let's see if I can name all the colors. There is, the first one here is Sweet Sorbet, and it's kind of a, sort of a muted sort of red. And then we have Parakeet Party, kind of a Granny Smith apple kind of green. And then this is our, don't tell me, I know what this one is, Tahitian Tide. I think this one might be my favorite. Then we also have Starry Sky. It's a little bit darker blue, and I just realized I'm kind of off the screen, so you're not getting to see the full gradient of these colors. So I just want to pull them up again so you can see that they're a little bit of an ombre, darker at the bottom, lighter at the top. See, and there's the Sweet Sorbet. And then finally, the Orchid Oasis. Oh, see how good I am? I got all 5 of them. It's going to take me a while to learn them all. So anyway, this is just beautiful, beautiful paper. And you get quite a bit of it, actually. You get 4 sheets of each color, 4 6x6 sheets. So it should last you for a little while. Of course, you're going to want to get more because you're going to use it all because it's so beautiful and you're going to love it. Okay. So let me put that away. And I'll show you first the card we're going to make, and then I'll just show you a fun little extra one. When we're done, I'll show you a fun little extra one I made. Got a lot of pieces here. Okay, so this is the card. It's really pretty simple, and you can see that gradient of the darker to the lighter. And I used the designer series paper on my envelope flap. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's do our envelope first. Okay, put a little bit of my liquid glue here on my envelope flap. I always like to decorate my envelopes. Sometimes I stamp them, most of the time I just throw some designer series paper on there. But it just kind of depends on what I did for the card itself. Okay. Make sure that's on there straight, and then let's cut off the extra. And if you cut off a little bit of the envelope while you're trimming by accident, it's not a big deal. No one's going to know. Unless, you know, you're doing it on video for all the world to watch, then everybody's going to know. But I doubt the person you're going to send it to is going to care. Okay, so set that aside so it can dry. Now, I have this one, I cut my half a sheet of cardstock lengthwise. How big is the DSP for the envelope? For my envelope strips, Jason, I just cut a strip that's about 2.5 by 6 inches. And that that seems to fit most standard envelopes. Okay, so this is cut lengthwise, 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So let's go ahead and fold this guy. Okay, set that aside for the moment. And then I have this little piece of white. This is actually for the inside of the card. So let's go ahead and do the inside right now. I have to remind myself what I did on the inside. Oh, I did something fun with this one. Okay, so for this one, what I did is I cut a strip of the Tahitian Tide. I should show you all the dies I'm using. I'm using the Amazing Frames dies. I used the Bouquet of Love dies. This one is in our January through June mini catalog. The Amazing Frames is in the annual catalog. And then I also used Penned Flowers, which is also in the annual catalog. And I took this one here that does the little edge and makes those little scallops. And I cut one of just the regular Tahitian Tide cardstock. And then I cut another one with the glimmer paper. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to glue them together so that just a little bit of that solid edge peeks out above the glimmer paper, just like that. So let's go ahead and put some glue on here. Okay, I should move this white piece out of the way here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my Tahitian Tide piece. Now I've got my glimmer paper piece. And I'm going to line them up. And I just want a tiny little bit of that edge peeking out over the top, just like that. And again, I use my liquid glue because if it's kind of lopsided, maybe there's more overhang on one end than the other, then I can kind of wiggle it around and get it where I want it, which is a little hard to do when you use the seal. So now I'm going to take my white piece that I have for the inside. I'm going to put a little more glue on the back of this now. It doesn't take a lot. A little bit of this glue goes a long way, and it actually, when it sets up, it doesn't take long to set up and become tacky. So where I say it gives you the wiggle room, it's not like it gives you wiggle room forever. Once it sets up, it really is a very good adhesive. Okay, so I just lined that up along the bottom of my basic white cardstock. Make sure it's going all the way to the edge there. Now I'm going to take my snips and just trim off the extra. And they go flying everywhere. Okay, I'm going to put these dies back in the little envelope before I lose them. Okay, then what I did, oh, well, let's go ahead and glue this piece in. I'm all excited to tell you what I did next. I should probably finish doing this part, right? Okay, so now this is going to go on the inside of the card. And this one I wanted to have it open this way, like a book. Okay. So I want to line that up so my margins are relatively the same everywhere. We've said that before. Now I'm going to set this out of the way. Okay. Let's see here. Now I have this piece of white. This is actually going to just be a background piece, but I'm going to wait to glue it on because if I make mistakes, if anything goes horribly wrong, I can always replace that without having to replace the whole card. So while there are a lot of pieces that I like to glue down right away, there is a good argument to be made for waiting with some things. Okay, now what I did is I took a piece of the Tahitian Tide glimmer paper and I cut 4 strip. What I did is I cut a strip that was 3 inches by 4 inches, and then I cut it so that it was strips that were 1 inch by 3 inches. And then, because I wanted to make sure I put them back in order because I wanted the gradient to follow on my piece here, I numbered them so that I could put them back together. So this is 2A and 2B. So they're going to go like this. I'm just going to set them up the way I want them now so that they're ready and it's easy to put them on. So I've got, there's 4B. So 4A and 4B are going to go this way, I think. Let's see here. 1A and 1B are going to go this way. And then, there we go. So everything's going like this. Okay. Now, what I decided to do for adhesive for these, I'm going to show you. I used our foam adhesive strips, and I'm probably going to have to grab some more. I didn't realize that. I use this because I wanted to pop it up, but if I used dimensionals or the foam adhesive sheets, it was hard on these pieces that were really narrow at one end because it didn't go all the way across. So by using the foam adhesive strips, it worked all the way across the whole piece. So just put it there and then cut it. And I am going to need to grab another one, so I'll do that here in a minute. First, let's go ahead and just get these strips on all of them. This is probably the most time-consuming part of this whole card, and then, I mean, it all comes together pretty quick and easily. Okay. These strips are also really great for making shaker cards. If you have, if you make shaker cards, it's really nice because it's very pliable and bendable. So like if you use a circle, you can work it around your circle very easily. Anybody else use these foam adhesive strips for stuff? Do you use them for things other than what I've mentioned that you care to share with everybody? Okay, let's see here. Okay, again, I'm putting them in back in the order I'm going to use them. Hang on, I'm going to grab some more strips. I have a little secret stash drawer for my adhesives, and these were buried at the bottom, of course. Okay, so now we'll get another strip going here. And it's okay that, like on your wide end, there's so much that doesn't have the adhesive. It's not a big deal. It still holds up really nicely. Jason, you don't own any. Maybe this is something that you should get to play with and try it out. Robin says she has some and she uses hers in the same ways. I will say I don't use it a ton because the other foam adhesives work well for most of what I do, but I do really like this for really narrow pieces and for shaker cards. Okay, you gotta flip over and go the right direction, little paper piece. You know what I say, show it who's boss. Don't let that piece of paper bully you. Now I just need a little tiny piece for the end there. I could have centered it, but might even be a little too long, so I'll put it that way. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to start lining these up. Put the first one on. Now it should go pretty quickly. Peel these little backs off. The other nice thing is, because it's so narrow, it does lift up pretty easily if you need to redo it. Like, I can see it's a little off center there, so I think I'm going to peel it up and just move it over a little bit, because that'll bug me that it's off center. There we go. That's a little bit better. Because, you know, that would have kept me up all night. Welcome, Colleen. Thanks for joining us. You can always come back and watch the replay to see the other card we made, but we're only on card number 2, so you're still good. Okay. So now I'm going to line that piece up. There we go. Let's start doing this. Now it's going to go quickly because I say it will. Like I have any control, right? Okay. I love this glimmer paper. It's nice and heavy duty. If you haven't used our glimmer papers before, it's maybe even a little bit heavier than our cardstock. So it lays really nicely and you don't get glitter everywhere. Like, you know, with some glitter paper products, the glitter falls off and you end up with little glitter pieces everywhere. Okay, these were out of order, so I got to make sure. Here, this one is 3. Okay. You don't, the glitter it must be like heat infused into it or something, because it doesn't fall off and go everywhere. Okay. Hey, Tracy, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let's scoot this guy down just a little bit. I want to make sure I have room for that last one. And it looks like I'm kind of off camera for part of this. I'm sorry about that. You got to let me know when I go off camera and you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to move some of these down just a little bit because they're kind of crowded at the top there. So move this one just a little closer to its partner. Now we'll move this one. There we go. There. So now you can see the, oh, well, this one is kind of wonky. Let's fix that. I moved all the other ones so that they would work with this one, and then this one's off. Okay. Bear with me. Looks like I'm going to need to put a different piece. That one sat a little too long. Got comfortable where it was, so now I'm just going to peel it off so I can lay down a new strip. That's easy to do. Easy, easy. Okay. Now let's find the strips here. Try this again. So I like to stream TV shows while I'm working, and it just gives me something to kind of listen to in the background. So I'm out of shows to watch right now, and I needed something new to watch, and I didn't really have anything. So I've been watching old episodes of Love Boat. You guys, it's cracking me up because they're so cheesy, and so and you don't have to think real hard when you're watching them, which is conducive to getting work done if I'm streaming them while I work. But it cracks me up. And the other day, my cousin had posted a thing on Facebook and she said, "What's everybody watching right now?" And so I told her what I was watching, and her response was, "I can't even with you right now," which totally made me laugh. And then later that night, I was watching it, and my husband yells from the other room, because I was in my office. My husband yells from the other room, "Are you watching Love Boat in there?" I love Psych. I watched Psych, Marcy, when it was on like regular. I love that show. They've done a couple of Psych like made for TV movies too. Have you seen them? Okay, now we're done. So we've got dark to light, and we're going to go ahead and stick this down on our card. And that took way longer than it needed to. Okay. Center this from, I want to center this vertically and horizontally. I think that looks pretty good there like that. And I'm thinking some of my pieces are on there the wrong direction because it looks kind of wonky, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to live with that. Now I used the Amazing Frames dies to cut out thanks. And I took white on the top and the Tahitian tide for the bottom. So let's go ahead and glue these two pieces together. You can also use our adhesive paper, adhesive backed paper or something like that. And that works really nice for piecing things that are really narrow like this together. And I'm going to get out my silicone sheet just because then I don't get glue everywhere. Okay. Do, do, do. Sing a little ditty while I do this. Okay. See, you even got a free show there with the song and everything. Okay, I'm going to glue this onto the bigger background piece of Tahitian Tide, and it just gives you a nice little shadow of the words. Usually it lines right up, but I have glue on my fingers, so the paper keeps coming away with my fingers. See what I mean? Let's try this again. Come on. Come on, fingers. Okay, line it up here on the... And you do kind of have to wiggle it around a little bit to get it to line up, which isn't a big deal. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go like this. That way I'm pressing them together without getting more glue on my fingers. Okay, and now we're going to put some glue on the back of this, and we're just going to go ahead and put it on our card. Helps if you take the cap off the glue. That's my little tip of the day. You know, I have never watched Superstore, but my daughter watched it and said it's really, really funny. I like it when there's a show that I haven't watched and it's been on for a couple seasons, because then it keeps me entertained for a while. Because like I said, I stream all day, so I go through seasons pretty fast. Okay, now I just put this on here. Whoops. It does take a little bit for that glue to adhere to the glimmer paper, so I do like to press it down with my silicone sheet like that. Just really get it pressed in there. And then last little bit, I have these little flowers that I cut out. And I took a few different little tiny dots. Let's see here. So I took some of our 2224 in color matte decorative dots. These are new in the annual catalog. And then our classic matte dots, which are in both the January through June mini catalog. And then they were carried over to the new annual catalog. So now what I'm going to do is find my Take Your Pick tool, which you know is my must-have tool. I use it all the time, and I say if there's one tool that you buy and you just say I can't buy anything else, I can only buy one, that's the one I recommend getting. So I'm going to take one of the little white dots here, and I'm going to put it on my Tahitian Tide flower. Scoot it over just a little. The funny thing is the centers of these little flowers are off center. So it took me a while to figure out why my centers, when I put the little thing down, why I couldn't get them in the middle. Well, because I wasn't putting them in the middle, that's why. Okay. And then I'm going to take a couple of the little tiny Tahitian Tide ones. And I'm going to put those on the white flowers. One right there, one right. Oops, that little flower's upside down. It's still upside down. There. Put these away before I lose them, because I lose stuff. What I did is I am going to glue down two of these, and I'm going to mount one with a mini dimensional. So let's put that mini dimensional on now. There we go. Put those away. And now these ones I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there on the center. And I'm going to lay it down here like that. Oop. Remember, like I said, it does take, whoops, that little flower center was trying to come off. You know what to do. Show it who's boss. There. Okay, now pick this guy up, put a little glue on him. He's tiny, so he's a little harder to work with. Okay. And kind of let him overlap the other one a little bit. And now we're going to take the one with the dimensional. I'm going to put that one right here. There. So we've got our three little flowers in the corner, got the inside there, and there's our card. Nice and simple, really. Now, when I made this, I didn't know what I would like better. If I would like in this one I used the word in white and the shadow in the Tahitian Tide, but I didn't know if I would like it better that way or reverse of that, so I made two. So I had an extra set of the thanks, just the other one going the other direction. And then I cut a couple extra flowers, well, I had one extra flower, because I didn't know if I was going to want two white, for my little ones, I didn't know if I was going to want two white ones or if I was going to want two blue ones. So I did cut an extra blue one. What I'm using right now, this is my glue eraser. Got a little bit of glue on that T, and it was just looking kind of dark and gross, so I used my glue eraser to get rid of it. Okay, so anyway, back to this. I had the extra thanks, and I had one extra flower. So just for fun, I made an extra card here where I used one of our note cards, and I just took a little bit of designer series paper and mounted it on with that thanks and the little flower there. And then, of course, put a little bit on my envelope. So I got two cards out of that. So card number two. Card number two is done. Jason, Ozark, is that one the one you're saying you couldn't get into? Because I tried that one too, and I couldn't get into it either. And I normally really, really like Jason Bateman. By the way, the flowers came from Bouquet of Love. I really like Jason Bateman, so I was kind of surprised I couldn't get into that show. Okay, and for our final card, I'm going to use a couple different products here to share with you. I'm using a stamp set that is new in the annual catalog, and this is called Uniquely Artistic. This is two-step stamping where you can stamp just the design by itself, or you can fill in the color with this little background piece. And there's leaves like that, there's flowers like that. So you've got a lot of different options. And then I also used the Easter Friends just because I wanted to have that my friend sentiment on there. And then I also, move more stuff out of the way here, use the seasonal labels dies. These are must-have dies. You know, on one side they are kind of seasonally fall and winter stuff, but this side, all of these little tags and such, I use them all the time. So it really is a great set that you can use year-round, even though it says seasonal. Okay, this is the card. Let me, if I can get it out. This is the card we're going to make. Again, I used the Designer Series paper, and this is the Starry Sky. This is what our card looks like. And I'm using the twine. We have a pack of Baker's twine with all 5 of the in colors here that you get this pack in $8-ish, I want to say. You know, I've never watched Breaking Bad, Robin. I can't even say I didn't get into it. I've never even tried. I haven't watched that. No reason. I don't know. I don't think of it. Okay, so let's get going on this card. This is another one that really is fairly quick and simple. So take all of our little pieces out, which is dangerous because I'll lose them. Oops. Let's move this out of the way. Get our envelope going. Okay. I really like the Designer Series paper this year for the color families. And you can get this in all of our color families. They all have the same patterns, but you can get the different colors that are in the color families, which works great for envelopes when maybe you don't use a Designer Series paper on the card itself, but you just want a color coordinating envelope. I love it. Robin says she does too. Ooh, I've heard good things about Inventing Anna. I haven't watched that one yet. I should watch that. But I've heard, my boss was telling me that that's one that you kind of have to watch, like really pay attention to watching it to see stuff. And so that's hard to do when I'm working. What do you think? Do you think I need to be able to like really give it my undivided attention? I bought all the color families too, Robin, with my order that should be here on Friday. I'm very excited. New toys to play with. Get that little bit off here. Okay, so I've got my envelope done. Okay, now let's work on our card. I have this little piece that keeps sticking to me and I keep trying to throw it away and it keeps sticking. So I have a sheet of basic white cardstock. We do sell a thick white, basic white cardstock. I just use the regular one. It works fine for me. Some people do prefer that thicker one though for card bases. Okay, so both Robin and Anna are saying you need to pay attention on Inventing Anna. So that's one I still will have to watch it because I want to. I saw the first season of The Flight Attendant. I haven't watched the second season yet. Jason is getting his package tomorrow with the new, all the new goodies in it. That will be fun. Okay, so I'm going to set that one aside now. Let's go ahead and take care of the inside. And all I'm going to do for the inside here, well, is open it for starters. It's very good, Robin. I know you asked Tracy, but I'm butting in. It was really good. I didn't know if I'd like it a whole lot. I'm not a huge Kaylee Cuoco fan, however you say that. I don't dislike her. I'm just not a huge fan. So I wasn't sure what I would think. And you get sucked in pretty quick. That's a big thing for me. I have the attention span of a gnat. And so if it doesn't capture my attention and suck me in fairly quickly, I just can't stay engaged. Okay, so cut off the little extras here. As you know, I like to decorate the insides of my cards, and sometimes it's as simple as just adding a little strip like this. it just gives a little something, especially if I am not putting any kind of a message on the inside. See, Tracy says you get sucked in too. I really like The Neighborhood, Jason. I love that show. Okay, so now let's work on the front. We're going to put these two pieces together. I love this polka dot pattern with the light and the dark. It reminds me of some pajamas that I have. And, you know, I'm a big fan of pajamas and wearing them as much as possible. I get to work from home on Thursdays and Fridays. And everybody goes, oh, you get to wear your pajamas all day. But I take too many video conference calls to be able to do that. So that's kind of sad for me, don't you think? On Monday through Wednesday, I have to work in the office. And so, of course, I can't wear my pajamas those days because that would go over like a lead balloon. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put this background piece on here. And I don't have it super straight, so we're going to try that again. Okay, so now we have that piece done. Next thing we're going to do is I have a little white piece here and a little piece of the starry sky. And I had a little scrap piece, but probably forgot to put it in there, but it's easy to grab another scrap. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this piece on. That probably was way more adhesive than I really need, but you know, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing to excess, I guess. I have a little lip on the edge of these where I cut the paper, so I do like to take my bone folder and smooth that back down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, hold on. For this, even though the color I'm using here is the starry sky, I took my Orchid Oasis, dark Orchid Oasis Stampin' Blend because I didn't want it to be super dark on the paper. And I'm just going to flick it a little bit, get a little bit of color on there. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and we might as well just put that on the card now. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to wait. Let that sit for a minute. Let me grab my scrap. Okay, now I have the stamp I want to use is this one with the little, it's the outer part of the flower, and I'm going to stamp that with the starry sky. Okay, easy. The other stamping I want to do, I'm going to do it while I have my ink pad out. And I take this little tiny little tag. And I've got the stamp that says my friend. Ooh, this is dangerous. This one is like just the right size. Goes off the edge a little bit. When I did my original one, I stamped it and then I cut it out with the die, which is probably what I would recommend with that being so narrow. Get the excess off of there. Okay, now I'm going to take my blender pen and I'm going to pull some of this color out into the flower. And I'm not doing a lot. I'm just kind of following some of the lines that are here and pulling the ink off of them. It adds just a little touch of color to my flower, so it's not quite so stark white. See how it just added a little bit of color there like that? Then, oh wait, there's more. Then I take my Wink of Stella. Okay. Oh, that would be pretty. Jason mentioned that the paper like this, the polka dot stuff, especially in that starry sky color, would be really pretty for a snow background. Okay, that wasn't supposed to come off. Let's try this again. Okay, now I'm just going to use my Wink of Stella in the center there, and then a few of the lines, just to add a little bit of shimmer to my flower. There. Now we're going to fussy cut this. For those of you who hate fussy cutting, and I know people do because I used to as well, you know, I just say, just jump in there and do it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Also, if you do it with this little halo around it, where I'm cutting not right on the line, but a little bit extra, it actually is a little more forgiving. So that's one little trick I have. The other trick is move your paper, not your scissors. Here we go. And the thing I like about images like this, because they aren't like a perfectly straight line and they're kind of all over the place, then you just kind of wiggle your paper a little bit and your line doesn't have to be perfectly straight to match up, and it looks just fine. So they're really a lot easier to cut. Okay. So I have, well, actually, I have a funny puppy story, which I'll tell you in just a minute since I'm about ready to move on to the next step with this. Okay, so the next thing I did here is I put some dimensionals on the back of the flower. I have this kind of weird pack that they pull the paper off when they come off the sheet like this. If you have ones like this too, all you have to do is just peel it off. It's annoying, but it's not a big deal. Okay. Now what I should have done is put a little adhesive down there first. Oops. Because the next step is I'm going to take a little bit of the baker's twine and I'm actually just going to wrap it through here. Let's see if I can figure out how to get some adhesive on there. I could use my liquid glue, but that would be kind of a little bit of a pain. Let's use a little bit of tear and tape. That'll work. That'll work. And in this week's episode of What Not to Do when you're making your card, oh, I peeled the back off and left the adhesive on my finger. That's kind of funny. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to put my twine on there and I want the twine to stick to the adhesive. Okay, that piece didn't work. That got stuck on one of the backings. Maybe moving on. Put a little bit more tear and tape on there. Anyway, I want the baker's twine to stick to the adhesive so it's stuck to the card, but it doesn't get in the way of the dimensionals. Does that make sense? So that the card still lays flat where I have the dimensionals instead of being all bumpy where the twine is. Okay, that should be enough to hold it in place, I would think. Come on. Okay, so now really all I'm doing here is making it go kind of around. I'm making little loops. And I want to loop on this side. I guess I'm doing this closer to me and you're not seeing it on the screen. This is all I'm doing. I'm not, doing anything super precise. I'm just kind of letting it fall where it's going to fall, but I'm still sort of guiding it because I want to make sure that it isn't overlapping on the dimensionals. Make sure I just wanted a little bit of something there. So now I'll trim off the extra. And take the backs off of my dimensionals. Okay, all my backs are off. And I'm just going to sort of center it. And then I'm going back to these matte, in color matte dots. And I'm going to add a few here. Let's do a big one right there with a little one. This one is going to be just a slight shade lighter than the other one, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. So, put them away, because these little dots, they like to get lost. And I'm going to put a little bit of foam adhesive on the back. Okay, now because this foam adhesive is kind of unforgiving once it's down, I haven't peeled the back off yet because I want to line up my tag beforehand to make sure I'm going to be okay where I put it, and it looks like it'll be okay. So now we'll go ahead and put it down. Let's see, I think I want to go right about there. Of course it's crooked. Of course it's crooked. Thank you, Marcy. That's very sweet of you. Okay, there we go. I love my tear and tape, Colleen. Love it. I use it a lot for a lot of different things. Okay, now let's put a little adhesive on here. Did I pop this up? No, I did not. Okay, and I'm just sticking it under this way so that it's coming out from behind that piece. I want to make sure it's straight. And of course it's not. There we go. Comes a point that you have to say, good enough. Okay, so there we go. Card number 3 is down with its envelope. What do you guys think? Oh, thank you, Mercy. That's really sweet. I really get inspired watching other people as well. I get ideas, and it just, sometimes I like to case their ideas, and sometimes it just gets my own creative juices flowing. So really there is a lot of benefit to watching many different demonstrators. Okay, let's go ahead and clean up our space a little bit, and then we'll take a look back at what we've done tonight. Clean up my mess. Okay. So the cards we did tonight, we have this little guy right here. We have, this was the little bonus one that I made. This is the one we made together. Should put them this way so you can see them. Make sure everything is up where you can actually see it a little bit better. And then our last one, our bamboo. Put put that right there. So that's what I've got for you guys tonight. I really liked how they turned out. I hope you did too. I hope you enjoyed what you saw tonight. If you did, I'd love some thumbs up or some hearts. Oh, the puppy story. Colleen, thank you for reminding me. Okay, so I don't know if many of you are familiar with house training your dog using bells. Welcome, Shelly. I didn't see you pop in. Good to see you. But what we do is we have these bells on a big ribbon that hang from our back door. And what we've tried to teach the dog to do is when he wants to go outside, he rings the bells to let us know he wants to go out. So, you know, of course, in the beginning, they learn to associate going outside with ringing the bells. And he loves to be outside, so he rings the bells 8,000 times a day. And of course, because you're trying to train them, you have to follow through and take them out every single time they ring the bells, which gets annoying. But anyway, he has now gotten to where he associates ringing the bells with going potty. So again, that's good. I've got to go potty, ring the bells, they'll take me out, right? Only we're not quite there yet. He does associate ringing the bells with going potty. And this morning, he peed on the kitchen floor and then rang the bells to tell my husband to come clean it up. So, yeah. So it's a little bit backwards, but, you know, I mean, at least he's associating the two together, right? Shelly says that the bamboo card is her favorite. Thank you. I think it might be my favorite too. I just, ever since I got that stamp set and had to hold off using it, I kind of was picturing that in my head a little bit. So thank you. I'm very pleased to hear that. Yeah, that is a funny puppy story, Colleen. This dog just cracks me up. We try to train him things and then it makes sense when you think about it, what he's learned, but it's not quite what we intended to teach. But, you know, whatever. So yeah, he's like ringing the bell. Hey, clean up in aisle 4. Which, you know, can't fault him. We did tell him, if you need to go potty, ring the bells. We didn't say ring the bells before you go. So anyway, those are the cards that I made tonight. I love the thumbs up and the hearts. That means a lot to me. If you follow me here on Facebook, I'm trying to build up my followers on YouTube as well. You can go to my YouTube page, which is under Stamp Happenings, and you can subscribe there. You can even click the little bell for notification when I upload any new videos. Colleen, he is cute, and it's really, really hard to be mad at him because he definitely has those puppy dog eyes where he just looks up at you, and yeah, it's just really pathetic. I'm a sucker. I fall for it every single time. And you know what? My husband would say he doesn't, but I think he actually does. But don't tell him I said that. Anyway, if you would like to order any of the products that you saw used tonight or any of the new stuff that's in the catalog, please do so. I'd love to earn your business at heathersides.stampinup.net. And if you do place an order under $150, if you could use this host code, that would really help me out. That's what helps me to get supplies and prizes and things like that so that I can keep bringing these videos to you for free. Remember, if you haven't made a comment yet, make a comment somewhere so that you get entered into the drawing. Even if you're watching this on replay, comment, say hello, let me know you're there, and you will be entered in the drawing, which I will do right before I go live next week. If you need to contact me for anything, you can do so here on Facebook in a private message, or you can email me at stamphappenings@gmail.com. It was great stamping with you tonight, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday. Bye-bye.